Hey guys, welcome back. We're back at the site once again, and I had suggestions to put hidden cameras up, but I haven't had the chance to. I haven't actually bought any, but let's see if we can find some clues. Let's see if there's anything left behind that might point us in the right direction. So it's a lot more rubble than last time, so let's start having a look. So we've got some fencing with a smiley face and something else next to it. Fair enough. We've got some rocks, rubble, building material, just the usual stuff. This stuff was here before, but this fencing wasn't. Yeah, it's quite sad. They come in from here, and they've come in so much times. The actual curbing on the side of the road is hey, there's a cricket that just jumped. The actual curbing itself is just broken now. So normally it's these type of trucks. You guys see that in the distance? They're the ones that come in here. So that's the problem. Is the truck is full loaded of rubbish, and they just unload the load, and then away they go. They could do it in about a minute, 2 minutes max. So it's getting the change of season here, so winter's fast approaching, but it's still a gorgeous sunny day here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the next pile. Okay, we're back at the next pile. We've had some heavy rain lately, so these trucks are old, because you can see the rain marks, but still newish. And most of this, like, so that's builder's sand. I might have mentioned it before, but they use that sand for, so we use it for not concrete, bricks, so the mortar in between. It's called bricky sand, it's another word we call it. But yeah, and common theme, once again, the concrete, empty bag of cement just sitting there. So we know that it's the local builders in the area are doing it. That's why I was trying to see if there's any clues. Got a Westinghouse cooker hood, so it's like for the cooktop. You know, the exhaust fan. Sometimes they leave labels on these, like this label here. There might be a business or a company. So that's another way of trying to figure out why or who's doing it. But as I said, so I'm about just under 6 foot tall, and this pile, I reckon, if I'm standing next to it, it's probably a good maybe 4 or 5 foot high. So it's quite significant piles here, and it is growing, like I've said in my previous videos. Eventually it will take all this land. I really can see it now. The council not doing nothing. The Environmental Protection Agency is doing nothing. No one's doing anything about it, so not really sure what else you do. What do you do? How do you try and stop this problem? Like, as I've said in previous videos, I've reported this so many times, even just to clean it up. Look at this mess. But no one seems to really care, so it's sad to see the environment like this, especially here in Australia. But, well, anyway, for that matter, we only live on one earth, but it's just a sad. You can see this pile. It's been here that long, guys, that it's actually growing grass on the bricky sand. See, wheelbarrow with no wheel. Got another one over there. Tiles. So, got a lump of concrete. Looks like it's from a bucket. Look at the bottom of it. It says from a bucket. But a lot of this stuff, look. We've got a dog or some type of animal prints just here. It's just 3 prints though, and it stops. But as I said, you do get animals here, and some of the stuff is quite hazardous. It's not a word. Hazardous for their health. They could choke on plastic and all that stuff. So, but like I said, I've tried what I could do as a local community member. It's up to the governments to do something. We've got more prints there. Bit of a Christmas tree here. Yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff. Some new stuff as well, but I haven't visited here probably in a few weeks, maybe a month. So, but I would love to get a hidden camera, but that would cost money. So money's a bit tight sometimes. So got to really watch where you're stepping. It's actually, even though it's cool today, it smells. There's a weird smell here. Not really any clues, unfortunately. So there was a label back there that I showed you guys, but maybe this paint can. There's a bit of a story. Some type of label on there. For that metal. Now, that's who made the paint. But that's not the paint. That's not them dumping that. That's just the manufacturer to get the right color. But that's not who's put that there. So maybe we could do investigating and give that company a call and ask them who bought paint that last year. But yeah, this is more for the Department of Environment to do something about it. But I'm still curious to know why or who. Like I said, it's local building entities that do it. And there's some nice wording on there. It's not really a swear word as such, but still not a nice word. See, stuff like this, look. There's other footprints here. You can cut your leg open on that. I'll slice your leg open real clean. It's metal, color bond. So it can be quite dangerous. You got to watch where you're walking. And these hills were not meant to be here, but these have been here for a long time. That's an overview of it. That's the right word. It is that. But yeah, not a lot of clues, unfortunately. Don't know, the government and the council need to work together to do something about this. There's a love heart there. And some of the stuff you can use, it's not all junk. You could turn it into, recycle this material. Especially bricks. Bricks can come handy. You can make a fire pit, especially in winter. Like someone's done here. I didn't do that. It was like that when I came here. Like you can just possibly turn it into other stuff, other material that could benefit people, because times are tough at the moment. Money's hard to come by, and money's hard to keep. It's just one here. Yeah, it's quite hard to determine, and even if there's a business name, we don't know if they gave that material to someone else. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's very hard to pinpoint who's actually doing this. You would have to actually physically wait here. As I've said, I have seen one truck in the act once. I've featured that on my live video last year. I just happened to be here at the right time. I was actually passing it, and I seen the truck unloading its load. So, but that was by chance. But who's going to sit here all day at night waiting? So someone's been smashing bricks on this big rock. So obviously kids probably smashing bricks. Nothing else to do. So, and again, look, it's a really sharp piece of metal here. Color bond, that's what I was talking about. Look at this. It has the potential to really, do some damage to someone's leg. And yeah, we just can't continue this the way this is. But unfortunately, until these people are stopped, how do you stop it? Unless they put a gate, up, or there's one way to come in and one way to come out, to my knowledge, to what I've seen. So you can only enter the way I've come in. If we could somehow block it, then that will really stop this dumping. But In saying that though, they could just break the gate, depending how inclined they are to really dump their load. Because dumping fees, I took a small trailer load, just household rubbish myself, and I took it to the local tip, and they charged me $50 for the trailer, and that was like a 6x4 trailer, so it wasn't a massive trailer. So I understand there's cost involved disposing waste, but this is not the proper way to do it. And these businesses and companies and building companies, they charge an absolute bomb to build properties. Like a bomb as in, not literally a bomb, like they cost a lot to build houses. So all that waste levy and all that pricing's incorporated in the price you pay to build, if that makes sense. So they just want more money. When the customer wants to build a house, they are paying extra for everything. Landscaping, brick, like all the materials that makes a house. But also you're paying for disposal of the rubbish as well. But the companies want to hold that money. So instead of actually dumping the rubbish that like the customer, like myself for an example, have already paid, they want to maximize their profit. So if they can dump the stuff here illegally, even though the customer's already paid for it, incorporated in that building cost, then the company's making more profit on the job, because they never actually paid to dump the rubbish, even though they were paid to dump the rubbish. So I'm not sure the way I'm explaining it is making any sense, but it's just greed. It's corporate greed, and this world is full of it. Full of it, and I'm over it. But we're kind of stuck. So look, this is a remote control electronic, I should have just said automatic garage door opener. That was easier to explain. I should have just said it like that. But it's heavy, so it's just boxes and stuff. So we know, actually, is there a label on there? Nothing. It's heavy though, but what do you guys think? What I'm saying is right. It's just corporate greed. We do have a waste facility that you can probably dispose this rubbish off. Like, I've actually walked right into this pile, guys. Look, I'm in the middle of it. So I'm standing right here. And it just continues on. And so this has been ongoing for about, I'd say about 2 years. It started off really small, the pile. That's why I make these videos too. I like to compare how big it grows. And also I just give you guys an insight of what I think. But, look at all this. It's just crazy. This is the worst place. And I've mentioned that in other videos, but this is the worst dumping place I've ever seen. I haven't seen a place that quite matches this one yet. And I like to look for these places. But this is the worst. This is the worst place. This slab of concrete, look how big this is. So this would be for a footpath, or if your international viewers, like American viewers, sidewalk. We call them footpaths here in Australia. And look at this big slab of concrete. Not as thick as I thought though, actually. But it's just for foot traffic, so they don't need to be really thick. They're not holding traffic as such. But this is obviously a chunk. And they use this foam in between the two concrete slabs. I would say it's a slab, but when they pour the concrete, because they pour this on site, so they actually pour it wet, and obviously they use that foam as a divider between the two pieces. Expansion joint, if you want to call it. I'm not sure the correct term for that foam, but yeah, this place is unbelievable. And in another month's time, in another month's time, you're going to see new piles, but give it another year and we'll probably reach to the end, I reckon. Maybe a year and a half, if nothing's done by then, which, knowing how slow the government are, you'll make it by the end. Yeah, there's a shoe there. But yeah, also, I've noticed as well, so in the distance where those houses are, there's roads that go nowhere. Because this, I think eventually this will be a future development. So eventually they'll have to clear all this land out. To what I know, because there's roads that just go nowhere. The roundabout's there and it just stops. So that's telling me that this will potentially have housing here in the future. So all this is going to have to be cleared one way or another. But I'm only just speculating. I'm not sure if there's actually going to be houses going here. But that's what I've noticed over there. The roads, they just stop. So I'm guessing, you know, maybe some of this will be built on, but I don't know. The land's quite mushy. It's quite soft. There's a lot of water was sitting on here before. So it's probably not the ideal place to build a house, but look what they do. I'll show you guys what they do. If the land doesn't suit you, then you can make the land suit you. I don't know, like if that. Okay, if I zoom in, you see that yellow sand? That's infill sand. They just whack it on top of this ground, compact it, and then the ground's hard, good to build. That's how they solve that problem. So I will guess this will happen eventually. We don't have to worry about snakes now. It's a bit cold for them now here in Australia. But let's look back one more time. There's some of the rubbish there. And I think we got some more over there too. See the road? That sign, it just stops. That's as much as I can zoom in. So that's what I mean. I think this will have a future development at one point, but not anytime soon anyway. Alright guys, bit of a long video today, but thanks for watching. Who knows, we might set up this trail cam soon. I need to work out which one's the best one, what type of camera, etc. So hopefully there's something we can do in the future, but in the meantime, that's it for today, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching and have a great day. So what I was mentioning earlier about the curb, so earlier in the video is this. So you guys can see the curb, it's all because they just come in so much times. The like trucks, the heavy trucks, the curb's not even attached to the road anymore. You see? We're on the side of the highway, well it's not the highway but the main road, and look at all these curbs. It's all broken, cracked. There's all the heavy vehicles that go over it. You can see some of the tracks. Go back, that's the way they enter. And the weight of the trucks, it just cracks it, look. Concrete's cracked right through. It's still heavy, but it's cracked right through. Look at this side, look at the difference. So maybe they could put a barrier or a fence up here. I'm not too sure, but there's a chain link fence that it just stops there. It doesn't continue any further, and it continues on the left there, but it stops. So they could put some type of fence, barrier, gate, just something to try and prevent the vehicles coming in. But that doesn't necessarily mean it will stop them, but you got to try a deterrent. But yeah, look at that. Alright guys, see you next one.